Good morning, everyone. We're in the town of Essaouira, in the streets of Essaouira. We came here to visit the synagogue and the home of Rabbi Chaim Pinto, a great Sephardic rabbi from the 18th century, who in addition to being a great rabbi, and he was a spiritual miracle worker, and people come from all over the world to pray at his grave and also to visit his home and his synagogue. And I'm walking through the streets of Essaouira here, and two women come up to me. And we're very accustomed to people coming up and trying to sell you merchandise, and they're holding chamsas, and they want to show it to me, and I assume they want to sell it to me. So I waved with my hand like I'm not interested. But then they called over someone to translate, and they said the following: they bought these chamsas as a gift for friends of theirs in Switzerland. But before they send it, they want a rabbi to bless it, if I could bless the chamsas, which of course I happily obliged to. This country is remarkable. Yesterday we walked to synagogue, and on the way, Arab merchants in their shops are wishing us Shabbat Shalom. We find in this week's Torah portion of Chukat that Moshe Rabbeinu, the most fearless leader of the Jewish people, who led the Jews out of Egypt and split the sea and performed so many miracles, was fearful of going to war against Og, the king of Bashan. And Rashi explains from the rabbis, what was he afraid of? Surely God was on his side. And the rabbis explained that when you go back to the story of Abraham and Bereshit, when his nephew was captured, abducted, Lot, in a war, Og Melech HaBashan came and told Abraham the news that his nephew was captured. And Abraham went to war and fought and rescued and redeemed his nephew from captivity. And therefore Moses was afraid that the merit of Og would stand by his descendants in Bashan, that they would be victorious over the Jews. And therefore God had to reassure him and say, don't be afraid, I will deliver him into your hands. Now the rabbis asked a fascinating question. We're told that the reason that Og informed Abraham about his nephew being captured was not because he was virtuous, but because Sarah was a very beautiful woman and he wanted to marry Sarah. So he figured, I'll tell Abraham that his nephew was captured, he'll go to war, he'll get killed in battle, and then I'll be able to marry his wife Sarah. In other words, he had very sinister motives in notifying Abraham that his nephew was captured. He wasn't being righteous. But yet, despite the fact that he had sinister motives, the fact is, he did a good deed, a righteous deed. And he caused and brought about the rescue of Abraham's nephew Lot. And therefore Moses was afraid that that merit would be there for his descendants in the country of Bashan. And here we have a very powerful lesson. Even if you do a good deed, a kindness for others, and you're not doing it with the purest of motivations, you're doing it maybe even for sinister reasons, the way Og informed Abraham so he could be able to marry his wife. At the end of the day, you did a mitzvah, and the mitzvah stands as a merit for you and your descendants for all future generations. That's why Moroccans have such respect for Jews, because this is a country which not only tolerated Jews, but always protected Jews. And that relationship goes on for generations. Matter of fact, one of the things we did in Rabbi, we went to the mausoleum of King Mohammad V. Why did we go to pay homage and respect to King Mohammad V? Beautiful mausoleum. And the answer is because in 1940, when Paris fell to Hitler issued very anti-Semitic decrees against the Jews and told Mohammad V that he needs to affect these laws in Morocco. And Mohammad V, King Mohammad V, stood up to Hitler and said, no, I will not infect these laws. He said, I treat all my citizens, whether Muslim, Christian, or Jewish, equally. And when Hitler said, I want a list of the names of all the Jews in Morocco, there were 250,000 Jews living here at the time. Mohammad V refused to give over that list, and he said, I have no Jews in my country, I only have Moroccan citizens. And therefore he is a hero to the Jewish people. When you think about Schindler's List or other great righteous Gentiles that saved Jews, he saved 250,000 Jews by refusing to give in to Hitler. And today you have over 1 million descendants of those 250,000 Jews living all over the world, including Israel. Yet, when you go to Yad Vashem, you will not find a tree planted for the righteous Gentile of Muhammad V. Why? Because there are 3 criteria to be a righteous Gentile amongst the nations. Criteria number 1 is you have to save the life of a Jew. Number 2 is you have to do it at personal risk to your life. And number 3 is you have to do it for no ulterior motives, no financial gain. And there's a debate till today. Did Muhammad V do it in an idealistic way? Did he do it as a virtue? Did he save the Jews of Morocco because he was a righteous Gentile, altruistically, or did he do it for financial gain because he realized the Jews were good for their economy of Morocco? And therefore, till today, he has not been recognized because they can't determine the 3rd factor. But the story of Og Melech HaBashan teaches us that even if you do it not for altruistic purposes, even if you do a mitzvah for sinister reasons, at the end of the day, you're still righteous. And therefore, we still have to be grateful and thankful and appreciate the act of heroism of Muhammad V that led to the saving of 250,000 Jews here in Morocco. Have a wonderful day.